The hearing room was tense. This was no routine meeting. On one side, Senator John Kennedy, known for cutting through political spin. On the other, FBI Director Kash Patel, head of an agency many Americans no longer trust. This wasn't about budgets. It was about trust in the FBI itself. Can the Bureau still enforce the law fairly?
Mr. Director, worry not. We'll make sure your agency is adequately funded. This judge you arrested in Wisconsin, she was breaking federal law, wasn't she?
Yes, that's why we arrested her.
She was helping an illegal immigrant escape being taken into custody. Is that right?
Yes, and the field agents decided to open the case, work the case.
And as Americans, do we get to pick and choose which laws we want to follow?
We do not.
If you're a state court judge, do you get to decide you don't want to follow federal law?
No.
And if you violate federal law, you get arrested, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
That's called equal treatment under the law, isn't it?
Yes, Senator.
You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. I think Ms. Page worked for Justice. The Inspector General found in its investigation that they hated President Trump and they really wanted Secretary Clinton to win. Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
And this would be the same same Ms. Page who sent an email to Mr. Strzok with whom she was having an affair. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And Mr. Strzok with the FBI, senior official at the FBI replied, quote, no, he won't. We'll stop it. Did I read that correctly?
You did, Senator.
Okay. Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee.
Most politicians avoid tough questions. Kennedy doesn't. He believes government officials answer to the people. Today, he was holding the FBI accountable. Patel sat stone-faced, bracing for questions about fairness, bias, and scandal. The FBI's reputation has been rocked by controversy, from the Russia investigation to the Hunter Biden laptop. Kennedy's questions would dig into the heart of these issues. The hearing wasn't just about one agency, it was about the integrity of our institutions. Americans are watching, wondering if the law still means anything. Kennedy's mission exposed the truth one question at a time. The stakes, nothing less than public trust in justice. This was a rare, high-stakes confrontation in Washington. Kennedy's approach, direct, relentless, and unafraid. The Bureau's future and its credibility were on trial. Would the FBI answer for its actions or hide behind bureaucracy? Kennedy was there to demand accountability. The list of scandals is long and the public's patience is short. This was a reckoning not just for the FBI, but for the system itself.
Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please.
Kennedy began with a simple question. Do we still have equal justice under the law? He cited a Wisconsin judge, Shelley Gaylord, accused of helping an illegal immigrant evade ICE. A judge, sworn to uphold the law, allegedly used her power to obstruct it. Kennedy pressed Patel. Is the FBI taking this seriously, or are there two sets of rules? Americans see officials break laws and face little consequence, while others are harshly punished. The silence in the room was telling. This case isn't just about one judge, it's about a culture of impunity. Kennedy's point? The public sees the double standard. Protesters get charges dropped, while others face severe penalties. If officials can pick and choose which laws to follow, what does that say about the rule of law? Kennedy demanded to know, is anyone truly in charge? Is the law real, or just a tool for the powerful? The question hung over the hearing, challenging the very foundation of justice. Americans want to know if justice still applies to everyone.
The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered, talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon to be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts. Had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, this story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. A person with a brain and a beating heart.
Yes, sir.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Kash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production to the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Then came the Hunter Biden laptop. The FBI had the laptop for nearly a year before the 2020 election. They knew it was real and that it contained evidence of possible crimes. Yet, the story was buried, censored as disinformation. Whistleblowers allege the FBI told social media companies to suppress the story. Kennedy asked, who gave the order to bury the truth? The FBI's silence and alleged deception may have influenced an election. This isn't speculation, it's backed by sworn testimony. Kennedy demanded accountability for those who misled the public. The integrity of our democracy is at stake. If the FBI can tip the scales in an election, we're no longer a free country. Kennedy's questions demanded a full accounting. Kennedy's plea was for accountability and transparency. Millions of Americans feel betrayed by the very institutions meant to protect them. Restoring trust requires honesty, reform, and equal application of the law. Director Patel faces a choice: defend the status quo or clean house. The future of the FBI and the country depends on that choice. The American people are watching, demanding change. The path forward is difficult, but necessary. Only real accountability can restore faith in justice. The reckoning has begun.